Yo, your boy SNA is back, and this is episode 52 of the SNA podcast, Super Ninja Austin's TV show, where we're going to talk about reviews of wrestling shows and wrestling news. But for now, we're going to talk about the latest edition of AEW Rampage, which is, according to the name of this video, this is the AEW Rampage review part 7. And let's start off with trios. Which is for the AEW Trios Tag Team Championships, which is the Acclaim and Daddy Ass defending their titles against the Hardys and Brother Zay. And then one funny thing that Max Caster said on the freestyle lines, I don't remember much, but I'll say he said according to this line, he said I don't. He's like, Matt, I don't have an issue with you. Just tell your wife stop messaging me of something. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, stop. And I'll start making jokes about her, when she probably sending messages in Spanish, when she started saying, "What the hell you doing in her and Matt Hardy's house to Stokely Hathaway?" on that deletion match a couple of months ago, But anyway, this is where we had the match we're going to talk about right here. Which we're going to get to the chase of this match. Is to start off with Anthony Bowens with Brother Zay, Isaiah Cassidy, with him hitting a wheelbarrow a wheelbarrow arm drag, I believe, and also a Hurricane Rana, and this is where he starts doing a scissor hand movement and started humping right into the canvas. I was like, was that very appropriate? Very appropriate for him to do. And then this is where Isaiah Cassidy tried planting his leg, tried to kick him right in the midsection, but he caught his leg. He flipped him over. He hits Brother Zay with a super kick right in the midsection. This is where he hits a backwards famouser leg drop right onto the head of Brother Zay. This is where Anthony Bowens took him right to his corner, tagging in Max Caster. This is where both him and Anthony Bowens did a double team maneuver. But this is where Brother Zay hits a hip toss right onto to Anthony Bowens right on the ring side. And this is where he tagged. This is where he elbows he kicked or elbow. I think he elbowed Max Caster. This is where he tags in Matt Hardy. This is where Matt Hardy came in. Brother Zay Irish whipped Max Caster right into Matt Hardy. This is where Matt Hardy kicks him right into the right hand. This is where he hits. I think Brother Zay hit the reverse DDT. This is where he tagged in there. This is where he tagged in. This is where Matt Hardy tagged in Jeff Hardy. This is where he did a mid-rope crossbody right onto not Anthony Bowens, Max Caster. And then this is where he goes for a pin, for a 1, a 2, kick out right after 2. Let's see right here. And this is where Max Caster started grabbing onto his face because I think he got hit really hard, stiffly in his face. This is where Jeff Hardy hits a snapmare. My apologies to the Hardy brothers. This is where he hits a snap. Out of his snapmare, he hits a jawbreaker right onto him, doing a bouncing jawbreaker to the freestyler of AEW. This is where he tried to go for a twist of fate right to him. He spins him around. He tried to go for a chop. He ducks. He tried to kick. He tried to hit him with a kick to the midsection, but Max Caster grabbing his leg. He hits him with a back heel spinning kick right onto the head of Max Caster. This is where Jeff Hardy hit the axe handle before he could have a chance to tag in Billy Gunn. This is where he got tagged in by Billy Gunn. This is where I believe Matt Hardy got tagged in by his brother Jeff. And then this is where Excalibur reminded Taz the history about Billy Gunn being in a tag team feud with the Hardy brothers. Especially referencing the facts from WWE when they were when they were in the big time tag team championship feud with the Hardy Boys, when he was teaming with Road Dogg from the in their Degeneration X days in the Attitude Era, when they were the New Age Outlaws. But anyway, this is where Matt Hardy pointed at him, is like, you will be deleted, delete. Like, and this is when Billy Gunn was like, oh, really? Like, I'm really going to be deleted? He's like, you can take that deleting nonsense and suck it. It's the crotch chop. This is where they start doing a delete and crotch chop talk. But every time when Matt Hardy says delete, this is where Billy Gunn says suck it. This is very hilarious. I'll say the second goofiest wrestling of the night with AEW Rampage, because they start repeatedly doing that until they finally start getting into their match and start grappling. Like, I was like, this is very hilarious. Like, this is what we need in wrestling. Some comedic and goofy wrestling spots, and then they fit the mold very well for that matter. This is where Matt Hardy continues to start deleting. This is where Billy Gunn started responding back with a suck it crotch chop. This is where Billy Gunn go for a headlock. This is where Matt Hardy counters and bounced him right into one rope and Irish whipped him right into the other one. This is where Billy Gunn intercepts right back and hit him with a shoulder tackle. This is when Billy Gunn was like, this hand movement, whatever that is. This is where he tried to go for an attack move right onto the corner in the bottom left corner onto Tina the turnbuckle. This is where Matt Hardy kicked him right into the head. This is where Matt Hardy hits him like 100,000 times with saying delete on every single time he started hitting him right onto the top and middle and bottom turnbuckle. He's like delete. Like, he was doing so much, he could have won the world record of bouncing your opponent's head right into the Tina the turnbuckle in the Guinness World Record book, and probably won like that much money, like for hitting them that many times. It was like delete, and then this is where Billy Gunn started selling it like a real wrestling seller, like would do. He sold more than The Rock did with the Stone Cold Stunner. Well, let's hope that's not a very bad comparison. This is where he tags in Jeff Hardy, Brother Nero. This is where he tags in brothers. Jeff Hardy tags in Brothers Day. He hits a Poetry in Motion crossbody. This is where Isaiah Cassidy hits the old version of the Poetry in Motion, using with both Jeff Hardy and Brothers Day stepping on Matt Hardy like a standing jumping footstool. And then this is where we got a double super kick with both the Acclaim members getting in the ring, super kicking Matt Hardy and Brothers Day. This is where they also go, they Irish whip both Jeff and Matt Hardy out of the ring. And this is where Max Caster hits a body slam right onto Isaiah Cassidy. This is where they lifted up his legs apart from each other. This is where Anthony Bones was right in the middle rope. This is where he's like, scissor me timbers. And then this is where he hits him with the leg drop. This is where Billy Gunn goes for a pin. He only got the 2 count. This is where and then let's see. We got this is where he tags. This is where not tag. I mean, this is where Billy Gunn starts stomping on Brothers Day. He started hitting a couple of rights. This is where Billy Gunn started pointing at Brothers Day when he started talking to the Hardy Boys, including Matt Hardy. He was like, "This is your boy, and this is your new brother here, huh?" Like, this is what Matt Hardy's like. Are you? He was like, yeah, like, and this is where Matt Hardy said something. He pointed at his chest. I was like, Matt Hardy, you shouldn't have done that. Like that was very. I would say that was unsmart smart thing that he would ever done. This is where Billy Gunn hits him with a right hand. This is where he hit Matt Hardy with a right hand. This is where right off the not canvas, right off the hardest part of the ring, which is the ring apron. This is where for Billy Gunn, both Billy Gunn and Isaiah Cassidy with a outside the ring. They're down on the ground because when Billy Gunn tried to go for a running splash right onto the top on the top left corner or top right corner of Tina Turner. This is where Brother Zay moved right out of the way in seconds. This is where it landed this face first right on the top ring post. This is where he landed into a Ric Flair fashion, face first right into the canvas. That made Ric Flair very envious. This is where, or proud even, I'll say, maybe of inspired into selling moves and all of selling wrestling moves in the world of professional wrestling. This is where one of the Acclaim members was trying to debate who should Daddy Ash should tag who first. But not first, I should say, who should tag in next, I should say. And while Jeff Hardy start patting the top turnbuckle, this is where he's trying to get tagged by Brother Zay, Isaiah Cassidy. This is where Billy Gunn started trying to grab onto the leg of Isaiah Cassidy. He hit the step up Instagiri right onto Jeff Hardy. This is where he hit the clothesline right onto Billy Gunn. This is where he hit another clothesline to Max Caster. This is where he clotheslines Billy Gunn out of the ring. This is where he hits a whacking clothesline, which I believe Anthony Bowens botched the selling of the clothesline because he hit right to the side. And I think he was trying to do a 360 flip, but I think he failed to do so. But this is where he hits the side Russian. This is where Jeff Hardy hits the side Russian leg sweep right onto the Anthony Bowens. This is where he hit the leg drop with his legs in the opposite direction than he would usually would do. This is where he nearly got the 3, but luckily Max Caster was there to help his tag partner out to get the save. This is where he hits the elbow right onto the. This is where he hits the elbow right into Max Caster. This is where he hits a double whisper in the ring right into both Acclaim members, both Caster and Bowens. This is where Jeff Hardy was screaming silently in agony. This is where Billy Gunn kicked him in the midsection. This is where he tried to get his finishing move, which is the famous sir. This is where he counters it. This is where he tried to call out. He ducks. This is where Matt Hardy hits a twist of fate right onto him. This is where he unzip his shirt. Jeff Hardy unzip his shirt, takes that off to get ready to go for his finishing maneuver, which is the Swanton Bomb. And then when they hit their respective moves, this is where he go for a 1. This is where he try to go for a 1, to go for a 2. But Anthony Bowens hits him with an axe handle right onto Jeff Hardy's back. Right onto his back, like if it hadn't been for Max Caster, we would have probably saw some new AEW Trios Championship, but that was never gonna happen. But this is where mommy, daddy, and grandma got some sweet tart roast. Are you serious? Okay, that's fine. So we can use it tomorrow. We can just go tomorrow. Yeah, that's fine. That's cool. Yeah, whether it's Ivy, Dollar Tree, or Walmart. Yeah.
And then do $6.
Left?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
So I'm just letting you
Okay, that's cool. But anyway, this is where Anthony Bowens' Max Caster hit a diving elbow and a forearm right into the corner of the, right onto the corner turnbuckle. Dots, are you serious? Yeah. Uncle Julian didn't have these in weeks. Yeah. Here you go, Trey. This is where he Irish whips him right towards his tag partner Caster. This is where Max Caster hits him with a power slam, and then this is where Anthony Bowens hit the discus elbow right into Jeff Hardy. This is where Billy Gunn. What? Chewy lemon heads? Are you literally serious right now? Uncle SNA didn't have none of this since last year, or at the beginning. No, it was Easter. Yeah, never mind. This is where Billy Gunn tried to grab onto Jeff Hardy's leg. He's like, "Oh, what the heck? Who am I kidding?" This is where he tags in his adopted son, Anthony Bowens. This is where Jeff Hardy tags in what's his name? Isaiah Cassidy. This is where Isaiah Cassidy ducks out of Anthony Bowens' clothesline and drop kicked Max Caster out of the ring. This is where Anthony Bowens tried to attack Brother Zay. This is where he kicks him. This is where he kicks him right into the face. This is where he hits a top rope spinning face buster right onto Anthony Bowens. This is where the fans start chanting, "This is awesome, clap, clap. This is awesome." I was like, yeah, it's definitely awesome because this is the number one match. This is gonna get it's definitely gonna be very watchable on from tonight's AEW Rampage's episode. And this is where Isaiah Cassidy got back up. This is where Billy Gunn also got back up. This is where he tried to run him out of the ring. This is where he grabbed on the ropes on the top rope. This is where Billy Gunn fell right out from the outside. More spearmint leaves? What? Island snacks? What? Okay. Anyway, I see. Are you serious? Here you go. Anyways. Okay. It's serious. Yeah, really? This is where Isaiah Cassidy was mocking Billy Gunn, like, scissor. I was like, it's one thing. It's all right when you do the scissoring with your hands, but doing it with your tongue stick out and start doing it. Ain't that a little too going a little bit too far? More sweet tarts? Seriously? One more. This is where Billy Gunn, not Billy Gunn. I think one more. I see. Sweet tarts original. This is where he hits. Okay. There's one more snack, you said? I gotta show it. Anyways, this is where he gets back in the ring. This is where he started getting knife and chops and punch right onto Anthony Bowens, and then this is where they did the double toss suplex movement jig right onto Anthony Bowens for the 1, 2, 3. And there's still the AEW Trios Tag Team Champions, The Acclaim and Daddy Ass. These are all snacks combined. Oh yeah, and there's Block's gummies. Great. Here you go. But what do you think? What do you thought about this match in general? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. Okay, I see all four of them at the same time. Yay. Anyway.
One more. Okay.
This is where Eddie Kingston, this is where 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. No, it's 4. These are not 5. 4D, like 4D. Are you serious? But this is where Eddie Kingston was in the Ring of Honor Pure Champion from New Japan. Sabeda, I believe that's his last name. Like he was holding with both championships on both of his shoulders. Like with one having the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship, and the other one having the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. Excuse me, Trey. You.
Hold on, Sean.
Okay.
1, 2,
This is where Eddie Kingston.
3,
He's like,
4, 5.
and this is where he's sent a message to him, but also not only him, but also to his opponent tonight against Rocky Romero. Which, spoiler alert, I would say maybe I could be mistaken, but I think Eddie Kingston could be the Eddie Kingston versus Rocky Romero match was probably the match of the night. You can't talk about how much candy you count. This is not what this video is for. No disrespect, but you gotta let Uncle SNA to. You just accidentally stepped on my little electronic source.
Yeah.
Just because you want to talk about some candy.
Yeah.
You really.
And here.
You're the best strong openweight championship. This is where.
What kind of?
This is gonna be an honor and pleasure to face you.
Yeah.
Now you got me in the G1. Like
Yes.
he's like, you the reason why you got me to G1 and all. Like, and I want to thank you about that. But I'm gonna return that favor when I retain my championship against you. Like I have nothing but respect for you, dog. And this is where he doesn't. And this is where he got rudely interrupted by a couple of nuisances, which I'll say known as Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh, Karen Jarrett definitely, and Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. He was like, "You got more?" This is where Jay Lethal was like, like you being like. For her having much pleasure to be in the Ring of Honor trip, I can respect it. But what I don't respect, let's see, right? He's like, it's where Jay Lethal came in. It's like we give honor and respect. You standing a man with 2 belts, and I respect that from out of you. 2 championship on the show. And that, boys, I respect that. That's what he said. But I can't get behind this if I find that you're the Ring of Honor World Champion. And I dedicate my life for that championship for the past decade. And I put my blood, sweat, and tears into that. And I'm here to addition that every person and a pure athlete, with other pure athletes, I don't know about the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. You retain or you lose it, like I don't care. Like, but whenever you win or lose it, like whoever gets Rocky Romero, like. I don't care what you do with this championship against Rocky Romero tonight, and even with Sabeda, right? At Wrestle Dream. But I care what's going on with the Ring of Honor World Championship. Oh yeah, you got now that's 6 right there. Yeah. All right, Kingston was like, he was like, excuse me, excuse my back. Like I got some issues with my back right now. I was like, wow, like you started to sound like it sounds like we got a Hollywood Hulk Hogan thing. Okay, Trey, you gotta let Uncle SNA say. Okay, you can count right here, Trey. You gotta count right here, please. But anyways, this is where Eddie Kingston's like, excuse me, my back is killing me right now. Like excuse me, like, and then this is where we have the match with the Mad King taking on the former IWGP Junior Tag Team Heavyweight Championship. This is where, even though this wasn't like a main event worthy match, but it's still like a match that's what you want like what you want that's in the mid card, something that's gonna keep maintaining your interest and being invested into the wrestling product. Like this is what you want to see in wrestling because they put on a clinic, like a mini clinic, I should say, because he started twisting his arm. This is where he started twisting his arm. This is where Rocky Romero started rolling out of it. This is where he started doing the signature Latino wrestling shimmy on the Eddie Kingston. This is where Eddie Kingston's like, really, like you're really gonna do this right now. And it's like, okay, I keep on going. Like I'm still trying to put my shoulder back in place, but I'm still gonna fight you. Like, just give me a few seconds. Like, and this is where they got back in the match. This is where Rocky Romero hits him right into the midsection. This is where he got him in a headlock. This is where Eddie Kingston Irish whipped him right to the corner ropes. This is where he started shoulder tackle, but Eddie Kingston was still standing, like nothing was gonna bring him down. Trey, what did you do that for? Sorry about that. Like my nephew's being bad. Atreyu, what are you doing?
No.
Yes, Uncle SNA needs that. The viewers have to see where I'm at while I'm talking about and explaining the AEW review. Sheesh. Do you viewers have one of those days that you have a nephew that always does plenty of bad things? Even when y'all in the middle of doing something like this, like let me know about that down in the comments below, separately out of like besides of anything pro wrestling, like including AEW right now. But anyways, back to AEW. This is where Rocky Romero shoves Eddie Kingston right in the face when they started talking trash on each other. But it was in a friendly manner because this is competition for the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. This is where he tried to go for a chop. He ducks. He hits and then Rocky Romero hits a sliding hurricane right onto Eddie Kingston. This is where he runs and hits a suicide dive right onto the Mad King. But Eddie Kingston barely stumbled because he's still standing. This is where Rocky Romero tried to go for another one, but nothing was bringing down the current double champions of Ring of Honor and openweight champion of New Japan. But this is where he tried to go for a third time as the charm, try to maneuver. This is where Eddie Kingston caught him right in midair. I was like, how the hell did the Mad King do this? This is where Eddie Kingston lifted him up into a brainbuster position, which he successfully did so, but it looked like his lower back got some damages rather than his brain and his head. And then this is where Eddie Kingston got ready to put him back in the ring and finish him off in the ring. And let's see right here. This is where Eddie Kingston got back in the ring. He was headlocking Rocky Romero. This is where Rocky Romero started try to counter his grasp into a headlock position. This is where Rocky Romero hit one move afterwards, which was, I believe, was when Eddie Kingston tried to go for a running knee right to the midsection. This is where he repeatedly done this like probably two separate times. This is where he tried to go for a third time for a chop, but this is where Rocky Romero intercepts the maneuver and hits the most devastating move in all sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. But he only got a 1 count. This is where he goes for a roundhouse kick. This is where he hits a tornado DDT right through the ropes. This is where when both men was down, this is where he had some stretching maneuver right onto the champ. This is where also we're going to talk about. This is where he started hitting chops and punches with one another. This is where Eddie Kingston has his suspenders off on his tank top, I believe. This is where he tried to go for a running maneuver. This is where Rocky Romero intercepts into a, or not intercept. This is where he caught him off guard and hit him with a knee strike. This is where Rocky Romero goes for a. This is where he tried to go for. This is where he hits him in the kick right to the head, face first right into the Mad King. This is where he's like, "Come on, give me your best shot. Come on, like show me what you got." And this is where he hits a knuckling right strike right to the jaw of Eddie Kingston. But Eddie Kingston just bitch punched him right into his jaw. This is where he hits him with a roundhouse kick to Eddie Kingston. He hits a mid rope drop kick right off the mid ropes, right through the middle ropes where Eddie Kingston was hanging off of. This is where Rocky Romero goes for a pin, but he only got a 2 count, which was a 2.99999. Looked like he got the win, but Rocky Romero thought that, but the referee's like, I guess a 3 because before I even have a chance to hit the mat and say 3, like he kicked out. But anyways, this is where he tried to go for a sliced bread, but Eddie Kingston counters, throw him to that exact same turnbuckle corner where he tried to pull off the sliced bread maneuver. This is where he hits him with a clothesline right off the that exact same corner turnbuckle where Rocky Romero got Irish whipped on. This is where Eddie Kingston started hitting those speeding chops that made it. I bet that makes Gunther envious into his speed. Like he does it more quicker than Gunther ever did in his chops in his whole entire career in the world of professional wrestling. This is where he tried to go for a back suplex out of the top rope but Rocky Romero tried to elbow him. This is where he finally goes up right off the top rope and finally pulls off the sliced bread move right off the top turnbuckle. This is where he thought this was going to be it. This is where he pinned him with 1. This is where he pinned him with a 2, but he kicks out at 2.8, and everybody was like, "Oh, like so close," but still couldn't pull off an upset and win the New Japan Strong Championship and go to Wrestle Dreams with that title. And he'll probably only defend the ROH title against Shibata. But this is where Rocky Romero started beating his chest. But luckily, that's never going to happen with Eddie Kingston not gonna only defend the championship. That's only going to hold 1 championship. We're going to hold 2 championships. We're going to defend 2 of them at the same time at the biggest crossover event in AEW's promotion or Tony Khan's promotion yet. This is where Rocky Romero started twisting his arm, doing similar like the elbow strike from Karrion Kross and Wade Barrett's bullhammer elbow striking maneuver. This is where he tried to hit something similar to that move where he started twisting his arm back and forth. This is where he hits a clothesline. I was like, wow, like I thought for a second, I thought going. But he started repeatedly hitting double clotheslines, like back to back. I shouldn't say double close. I was like hitting clothesline 2 times back to back. This is where he tried to run up and try to do another move. This is where Eddie Kingston intercepts and hits him with a back fist out of nowhere. This is where a spinning back fist, and he hits another one. Once again, he fell flattened right to the floor. This is where Eddie Kingston started hitting the steps armor stretch club right onto with him holding his right arm like this, like holding his right arm and have Eddie has his left arm over Rocky Romero's head, and then he made him tap, and he retained his New Japan Strong Openweight Championship, and I congratulate the Mad King for doing so. Well, he twisted the wrist, and that's how he got trapped in. He made him tap for him to retain. And this is where they handshake, they hugged it out. It's like, yeah, you did well, and you did well yourself, and And I'm glad I faced you. And this way, Kingston was saying, like, I'm glad I faced you and defended my championship. And this is where it's like, yeah, like, and then this is where Rocky Romero agreed. This is where he grabbed both of his respective championships, like the Ring of Honor World Championship and the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. Gave it front forward to the Mad King. Walked out there. This is where Eddie Kingston hold both straps of the title. And this is where we have a. But yeah, this is where we saw the peer champion, which is none other than the junior heavyweight division man himself, the what's his name? Katsuyori Shibata, I believe that's what his name is. Katsuyori Shibata. Yeah, that's right. He handshake Eddie Kingston. He was like looking at him, and he was like, started pointing at him. He was like, "May the better man win and have the double straps." Well, and if Katsuyori Shibata, if he does win, that means he'll be a triple champion rather than just a double champion. But yeah, we're gonna see about that. I don't know if he's gonna win. I think Eddie Kingston's gonna have this all. He's gonna have this all the way, and we're gonna see that. He's gonna continue as a fighting champion. And what do y'all guys think about this? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. Apologize if I haven't said that much like I usually would, but I'm saying it now just to make it up. This is where we got an Aussie Open. Backstage segment, which they send their message to the FTR, and they're also gonna have their match teaming with the Absolute Ricky Starks and Big Bill taking on Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta and the what's their names? Not Ricky Starks. FTR, the reigning AEW champion. This is where we got Righteous, which they got into a squash match against these guys, which their names were, let's see right here, Caleb Rush. I think it's Caleb Rush and Gunner. Yeah. Which they got completely annihilated. There's not much to explain about that. They just got hit. They got hit with plenty of their moves, including their tag team finishing move. And with Dutch has them right in midair, lifting them up in midair, lifts them up, and for Vincent to hit a spinning cutter right off of midair for the 1-2-3. And then it seems like they're ready to face the devil himself, MJF, for the AEW, not AEW, for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. And then who do you think is gonna be the winner and walk out as the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions this Sunday? Y'all let me know down in the comments. And also, I think that MJF is gonna retain. There's gonna be somehow that they will, and it's gonna be, and he's probably gonna get some help from the guy that's framing him. That attacked Juice Robinson, Jay White. And my apologies for not bringing that up. I'm bringing it up right now. And bringing it up right now, like there was a devil mask guy that was wearing MJF's signature devil mask to make it look like it's MJF attacking with his minions, but it looks like you're framing him, and I'm wondering who it could be. It could be, some say it could be Adam Cole and he's faking his injury, or it could be the debut of Adam Copeland, even though he didn't seem very tall like the former Edge, but who knows? We can never doubt anything at this point. We're just gonna have to continue, stay tuned on that, and see the reveal of staying tuned on the stay on the wrestling news, and the wrestling news of the wrestling news on the internet, of course. That's what I meant to say. And what y'all think? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And I forgot I was kind of distracted with my nephew, but Jay Cargill, they've been bringing up about the new signing of Jay Cargill at the beginning of this week, like when they signed Jay Cargill to a WWE contract. And she's been training at the Performance Center ever since been signed with the company, and they made a huge shocking announcement by letting everybody know that she's now signed with WWE, and surprisingly they didn't make that much references about her being formally being referenced about she's been formally been on another wrestling company, which that being AEW, but without name dropping it. I would expect to say she's been the most undefeated wins, unless I haven't really heard them correctly, but yeah. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about that down in the comments below. But let's move on and continue on the. We got another vignette with Santana and Ortiz about Ortiz, which Ortiz was talking about their team has gone that's went downhill, and they thought they would last forever as a tag team, and they were like more than just homies. They were like brothers. They were like one in each other's. I would say they were like brothers. They were like actual family members, and this is where I believe it was Conan. They were saying, which Conan said it breaks his heart that he spent the whole time with them, and he spent his whole time with them and help him got into the wrestling business, and then they would never thought they would ever split up in their entire life is in-ring active as active in-ring competitors. And also and they were those are like my sons. I love them as sons, and they were and I was trying to be the best father figure that they could have ever had and etc. Like, what y'all thought? And basically, yeah, the point is well, I'm trying to explain that this is a shocking move from the former LAX and Proud and the Powerful of no longer teaming together. And we would thought these guys will be a tag team forever, like a Lucha Brothers, the Young Bucks, any name of all the tag teams that are very successful and very recognizable and famous. Like, you would expect them to be tag teams, like, even if they had singles pushes and singles run into like in the main event scene or in the mid card or whatever. Like, you would expect them to still be known as a tag team as a tag team into their resume and in the world of professional wrestling. But what do you think about this? About this turn to a storyline? I'm not sure if this is for real, or this could be part of the storyline, or it could be both. Like, they really don't want to work with each other, which I think that's the case. They don't really want to be teaming with one another, but they didn't even want to work with each other at first until Tony Khan convinced them to work as bitter enemies onto the former best buddies and brothers, and now turn into bitter rivals into the AEW programming. And what do you think this is where it's going? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. This is where we have Nick Wayne challenging Luchasaurus. He was like, right after they showed a vignette of Christian Cage and Darby Allin they're hyping up their match at Wrestle Dreams this is where Nick Wayne was like, I'm not gonna be allowed in ringside, and to be honest, I'm not sure if I won't even want to be in ringside with ringside watching the match. Like, and he's like, because I set my eyes on Luchasaurus because there's some receipts I want to cash in onto him and show him that you're. Let's see right here what he said. Oh yeah, that's what he said. Like he's gonna, he's asking, he's asking out louder than what he said. What he said though. He said, sorry about that. His action's gonna be speaking loud at Wrestle Dreams about Darby Allin. And although these are not to be there, I'm gonna while another band has your top, like you just follow him. Like, and he also took a shot at Luchasaurus saying you let another man hold your championship, but you successfully earned, and you follow him around like if he's your pet owner, and also there's some kind of father figure to him. And like, I don't know about Christian Cage. He thinks he could be, and I don't get why he thinks he's some kind of a father figure of. Again, he's some kind of a father figure for us fatherless young wrestlers, and but I had a father figure, and he told me very, very young to never leave your debt unpaid. And then that's what Luchasaurus did. I have a debt on you, Luchasaurus. At Wembley State, when you choked me on that skateboard, I never forgot about that. And then I'll pay back in that debt when I face you, and I'll pay back that debt at 0 hour. And you have some, and I'm gonna hand you a receipt as well, in the process, of course. And also from the 8-man tag match where Ozzy opens and Big Bill and Ricky Starks against Bryan Danielson and Willer Yuta and FTR. We're gonna have Zack Sabre Jr. gonna be the special guest in commentary, and then we got Andrade El Idolo taking on Juice Robinson, and we got so much matches for tomorrow night, which we're gonna recap that tomorrow night on episode, which I believe will be episode 54. Yeah, I'll say episode 54 because episode 53 we're gonna have the NXT. We're gonna have the NXT. We're gonna have the NXT No Mercy NXT No Mercy review, which will be my second ever PLE or pay-per-view review I have ever done on the SNA podcast. But yeah, but up next we got. And we also have a backstage interview with this is where we got a backstage interview with Zack Sabre Jr. with Renee Paquette, saying about his thoughts about the American Dragon Bryan Danielson, and he never faced him, and this could be a dream come true that he can face him, but also, let's see what he said. He's like. And he also let everybody know that he got off a 15-hour flight from Tokyo, and he feels fresh as a daisy. And also, perhaps Renee, that AEW is keeping a long piece. Maybe his head's told in bubble wrap, and maybe he's doing the football. And what he said right here. It took heat of replace. Keep repeat. I had to head and toe and bubble wrap. Maybe it's Giants all pro football. At this point, as strong as the wings come out wings came out of him, let alone from Zack Sabre Jr. And also, I'm supposed to be honored out of your year-long retirement tour, which he's like, you barely have a weekend, like. We're not gonna see what's gonna be the best technical wrestler. No, Brian. Like you, like what he said the first time. Let's see. These guys got some first news. Like, you barely have a weekend now. Like, it's Sunday. We're not just finding out who the best technical wrestler in the world is. And no. Like, you retired just once. Just like this stuff. I'm gonna make sure. You retired. You were retired temporary, but when I get in the ring with you, it's gonna be final. Like, wow. Like, let's hope that's not like an attempted murder. Like, and if it is, like, and if Simon was still doing ups and downs, he probably would have put the attempted murder counter, but I don't think he'll ever do that because, first of all, he don't do ups and downs for Rampage no more, and also he's not gonna. It's not really attempted. It just ended somebody's career before he can even do it in his own terms. He's like watching this like. And then this is where he sends the message. Who do you think is going to win? It's going to be the American Dragon, or it's going to be the reigning, defending New Japan World TV Champion himself, Zack Sabre Jr. Every former ex-WWE. Excuse me about that. But yeah, like every ex-WWE superstar that left and went to AEW or New Japan Pro Wrestling, they want to have a match with this guy, whether if it's him or Kenny Omega, or even Will Ospreay. Like, there's always somebody that from WWE want to wrestle these guys, because none of these three ever wrestled in WWE. Because I think it was probably for the better, or else they wouldn't be the most successful wrestling stars in their own respective careers. But anyways, we're gonna end the video today with the number one contenders match. It's gonna be the main of which Mark Henry would say, which I'm not sure if he even said his catchphrase line. It's time for the main event. But it's the number one contenders match for the women's championship in a couple weeks in the middle of October, which they're in their upcoming event to see who's gonna face Saraya at the upcoming Dynamite in a couple weeks from now. Is the number one contenders match between Hikaru Shida taking on Ruby Soho. And man, I'll say this was the third best match of the night. Like, it was very entertaining to watch, even though it wasn't like it's gonna main event a Tokyo Dome Wrestle Kingdom event or a WrestleMania, or even I should say WrestleMania first, then a Tokyo Dome event, or even an All In or AEW All In pay-per-view event. Like, but it did show that give the women a chance, and they'll give you a run for your money. Like, and they're gonna bring in more ratings and more views if you give them a chance of give them more time and a chance of fighting into the squared circle and bringing more women, and not just one women's match. Like, it should be more than just one. Like, in every show, like, it should be like at least I think 2 should be the minimum, and the maximum should be like 3 or 4. Like, at least, like, give the women a chance, and they'll show you why they are worth having the division for. Like, and they're like 2 million times better than they ever was like back in the 2019 and 2020 era. But anyways, this is where we got Ruby Soho and a grappling headlock right onto Hikaru Shida. Hikaru Shida pushes her into an Irish whip right to the rope. This is where she tried to run up right towards Hikaru Shida. This is Hikaru Shida bypassed her, goes right to the ropes. This is where she tried to go for a tag move. What she did, she go for a shoulder tackle. I bet she pressed the X or the square button on the video game, I bet, or even the counter, which is like, I would say that. I'll say, yeah, never mind about the video game. But this is where she tried to go for a top rope 10 beats to the head to Ruby Soho, but Ruby Soho rolled out of the ring. This is where she tried to go do it. She did the most cowardly move in all of professional wrestling, like, or more like the clever, more cowardly but clever, the double C move in all of professional wrestling. This is where he goes right onto the ring apron. This is where she tried to go back in the ring. This is where Hikaru Shida try to go for an attack move, but another attack move. This is where the referee try to hold on to her. I was like, why are you trying to hold on to her if she's already in the ring by now? This is where Ruby Soho tried to fake something out. Like, I would say fake. I would say perhaps try to distract both the referee and Hikaru Shida back and forth. Try to do some reverse distractions to both the official and the Hikaru Shida. This is where she grabbed on her head, where she botched. I think she botched. She botched trying to hit her with some kind of a slamming move, grabbing onto her hair. This is where she rammed her right to the top right corner of Tina the turnbuckle. This is where Ruby Soho tried to go for one clothesline right through the Tina the turnbuckle corner. This is where Hikaru Shida countered. She hits her with a running forearm. This is where she goes for right onto the mid rope. This is where she started going hitting her with a fist like four beats into the head. This is where Ruby Soho try to bring her down right off the mid rope. This is where she kicks Soho right into the face. This is where Hikaru Shida hit her face first right onto the other side, which is diagonal from the top right corner of Tina the turnbuckle. She went right to the bottom left side of Tina the turnbuckle, hit her face first right into the pad. This is where she started hitting her with the right hands, like I'll say about like 10, like 6 times in a row, almost 10 times. This is where Ruby Soho tried to go right into the corner. This is where she hits her with a bouncing like turnbuckle springboard crossbody. This is where she got her right into the top left corner. Put her. She got to the top left corner of Tina Turnbuckle when she put Ruby Soho onto the corner. That's where she started hitting her with punches like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Finally go for 10. This is where Hikaru Shida was like, oh yes, like finally. And this is where she hits her with a drop kick out of nowhere, which was actually somewhere. This is where Hikaru Shida was like, nothing's not going to stop me from becoming 3-time AEW Women's World Champion, which I believe she'll probably be the first ever 3-time champion, like over Britt Baker and Toni Storm. This is where Ruby Soho Irish whips Hikaru Shida right into the corner. This is where she tried to hit her with a running elbow strike, but she moved right out of the way. This is where she tried to go for a move to Ruby Soho. Ruby Soho elbows her. This is where she jumps right off onto the middle rope. This is where she grabs her on her head and then pushes her head right with her knees on the back of her head, face first right into Tina the turnbuckle in the middle corner, like she used to do in WWE. And then let's see, we're going to get to the more of the point. I'll talk about more about this. This is where, let's see right here. Let's get to this point. This is where we got him on the outside. This is where Hikaru Shida he got her in a reverse firewoman's carry maneuver. This is where she tried to take her out for some reason. Take her out onto the stage. This is where Ruby Soho flips out of it. She forearms her right into the face. This is where Hikaru Shida intercepted back with a right hand to the jaw. This is where she goes for a right hand back. This is where Hikaru Shida tried to go for a punch, but I think she botched it, and I think she was feeling agony into either her face or her arm. This is where Ruby Soho hit her right in the midsection. This is where Hikaru Shida hits a right axe handle and this would start hitting punches right into one another. Ruby Soho start hitting the headbutts right to Hikaru Shida. This is where the referee counted to 8. That's what got their attention. Then they got back in the ring. As soon as the referee counted to 9, they both got in the ring at the same time and beat the 10 count. This is where Hikaru Shida try to kick her with a move right into the midsection. Like, this is where Ruby Soho intercepts Nia right into the face, which I wonder where she got that from. Probably from a friend that's now wrestling in Japan. But anyways, This is where Ruby Soho also hits a swinging back suplex, right? A Sata, I think it's called a Sata suplex, which only got her the 2.9999 count. This is where Ruby Soho was surprised that how that she kicked out of that move, even though that's not her finishing move exactly. But this is where she grabbed it on the kendo stick right under from the ring. This is where the referee was like, "Wait, what are you doing? Like, this is not a no disqualification contest. Like, you can't do that." This is where Ruby Soho. This is where she grabbed out of Ruby Soho's hand. This is where Ruby Soho tried to hit. This is where Ruby Soho. This is where Hikashi tried to hit her with a punch, but Ruby Soho was playing tug of war with her, and they both accidentally knocked down the referee and hit him right across the face with that very super duper brutally devastating hit as a referee has ever got hit with in professional wrestling. This is where Ruby Soho hits a headbutt right onto Hikaru Shida. This is where she hit the destination of unknown. That's what it's called. And then this is where she goes for the pin, but as soon as the fans chanted 3, this is where she realized like there's no referee. Like she's trying to see how to get the referee back up. And then this is where Taz was like you might as well just count the 10 at this point, like without any referee. Like, which that's what the fans did. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is where Ruby Soho's like, oh, forget it. Like since there's no referee up to call this match. Like I might as well grab the exact same kendo stick that exact referee that got knocked out took from me. Like so. I'm gonna grab the kendo stick. I'm trying to see. I'm gonna hit the caution. He caught Ashita, prevented her from hitting by. This is where she. I think she snatched the. I believe she dodged the swing where Ruby Soho tried to hit and swing the kendo stick right into the midsection of the former AEW Women's World Champion. This is where she snatched it right out of her hands. She hits it across her face hit her across her face right with the exact same kendo stick. She hits the spinning katana instigiri kick, trying to go for a pin. This is where the fans start doing the same thing like they did with. This is where like what Ruby Soho did with Hikaru, but they only counted to 5, which Aubrey Edwards finally came out there. She tried to count for a 1 and a 2, but Ruby Soho kicks out the last second at 2.999999, 0.1 seconds from being 3. This is where Ruby Soho. I mean, not Ruby Soho. This is where Hikaru Shida tried to go off to the top rope. This is where just try to go for some kind of a snapmare meteor top rope movement jig. This is where Ruby Soho moved right out of the way. This is where Hikaru Shida try to go for a move right with Ruby Soho trying to go for the bottom right corner of Tina the Turbo, but she slammed her back first right onto the canvas. This is where Ruby Soho got up right onto the mid ropes and then eventually the top rope. This is where Ruby Soho goes right off to the top rope, hits a senton, but Hikaru Shida got the knees up. This is where she hits her with the spinning Falcon Arrow. That's right, the spinning Falcon Arrow. This is where it even got me thought this was going to be it, and she was going to become the number 1 contender for the AEW Women's World Champion. But Aubrey Edwards went 1, 2, and she kicked out at the last second once again, or at 2.7 at least. This is where Hikaru Shida tried to go for another one. This is where Ruby Soho. This is where Ruby Soho counters into the no future, twisting her arm and hitting her with the step up instigiri kick, which is obviously the no future. This is where she tried to go for a pinfall, but But it wasn't enough because she managed to gain some consciousness 2 seconds right after getting hit by with the no future. She hits her with the spinning katana kick for the 1-2-3. And yes, sirs and ma'ams, we're gonna have a new number one contender, and it's of course, Hikaru Shida, and she's gonna face Saraya for the AEW Women's World Championship, which they said it's gonna be the second Wednesday of October on AEW Dynamite, and I hope you guys will be watching that, and I hope I myself will watch that so I can recap it on the upcoming SNA podcast video, which will probably be part 9 of the AEW Dynamite review. Make sure y'all check that out in the future, and yeah, this was the end of Dynamite. This is where Saraya came out and made her presence known, go face to face with Hikaru Shida. But before she got in the ring, she flipped off the fans like she would normally do, like her typical heel self. This is where she started. That's where she started talking so much rubbish onto the former 2-time AEW Women's World Champion, and yeah, that's how AEW Rampage ended. And I would give tonight's AEW Rampage 3 stars out of 5. I'd say it wasn't that exciting, but at the same time, it was still very entertaining to watch. For being just the normal annual weekly AEW AEW Rampage episode, just something that you want to watch right after SmackDown, of course. Well, how would y'all rate AEW's Rampage if y'all were doing a podcast or a wrestling review like me? Y'all let me know down in the comments below, and yeah, I hope y'all liked this video, and if you did, please give me a huge thumbs up and like this video. Comment down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and click the notification bell so you won't miss any uploads or any notifications when I upload my upcoming videos, and also go on my channel at Super Ninja Austin 213, which they're going to show you more exclusive videos of the SNA podcast from the past couple of months of making content like this, and then you could start off watching from the first to all the way to now, watching all 52 episodes of the SNA podcast. And don't miss tomorrow night's two back-to-back videos, 2 back-to-back videos of the upcoming WWE NXT's No Mercy pay-per-view and the AEW Collision episode. AEW Collision review, which is going to be part 7 as well. And it's gonna be this is gonna be my second time doing a back-to-back, in 2 days in a row, from on Fridays and Saturdays, from a couple weeks ago with doing it with Payback and Collision before, and it looks like I'm gonna be doing this here again with AEW Collision being on with another WWE Premium Live event, which is gonna be a NXT exclusive pay-per-view, which is NXT No Mercy. Make sure y'all check that out. Both shows, which just like me, which is gonna be episode 43 and episode 53, episode 54, and this is gonna be very great. And I've been your host, Super Ninja Austin, on the 52nd episode of the SNA podcast. My apologies for dragging it out altogether, but anyways, yeah, the SNA podcast, the 52nd episode of the 52nd edition even of the SNA podcast. I've been your host, Super Ninja Austin, and I'm glad you guys were watching, and I hope y'all have a great night, and see you guys tomorrow. The SNA, the assassin, is out. Okay.